Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. I remember saying that the plan of the Federal Reserve is to own everything, and it seems that they are actively engaged in accomplishing the first prediction of the WEF, which is that you will own nothing. The Federal Reserve currently owns more than 20% of all mortgages in the United States, and that's the number that they report. I personally think that it's more than that. Concurrent to the Federal Reserve buying on average about $40 billion worth of mortgage-backed securities on a monthly basis with fiat currency notes that they created out of fairy dust, there is a company that is called BlackRock, which has been noted to be buying single-family homes at 20 to 50% more than the asking price, which effectively is outbidding regular people who want to obtain the dream of owning their own home. Once I found this out about BlackRock, it made me wonder why they were doing this, and after a bit of looking around, it stands that BlackRock works for the Federal Reserve. As I've stated in prior videos, what we're experiencing at the moment is the biggest transfer of wealth that has ever occurred in the history of mankind, and it's all happening under our noses. I understand that some people will say that we don't really own our homes because of taxes, but ask yourselves, who would you rather homes and land be deeded to? Corporations and foreign interests who care nothing about the American people? Or would you rather an American own the deed to the land or home? Personally, I choose the latter. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, BlackRock's home buying spree should concern every one of us. BlackRock seems to be buying homes like there's no tomorrow, and their plan is not to flip the home and resell it for a profit, but to rent it out. Let's go ahead and read this article. I think it's very important that we are abreast of what's going on here with BlackRock and their connection to the Federal Reserve. Because eventually, ladies and gentlemen, as I've stated in the past, the Federal Reserve is the buyer of last resort, and the Federal Reserve, in my opinion, wants to own everything. They want it all, ladies and gentlemen. They have the power of the press, of the printing press, and they want it all. The general public does not normally look into companies like BlackRock, the largest asset management firm on the planet with over $9 trillion in assets. That's higher than the GDP of every nation in the world other than the United States and China. We don't normally look into them because they're invisible to normies like us. They don't advertise or have their name on a sports stadium like most other major companies. They're happy to stay under the radar as is possible for a large company that is so huge. But some in the general public are paying attention now. BlackRock and other money institutions are buying up single-family homes as quickly as they can at rates higher than the average home buyer is willing to pay. They're buying them up at premium, and that should concern everyone, whether you're in the market to buying a home or not. Now it says here, this will have three instant effects on the market and the economy. First, it is already making it harder in a scarce market for home buyers to make a purchase. Second, it is driving up prices in a self-replicating fashion. The more that BlackRock and other overpay for homes, the higher home prices will go up. Last, but certainly not least, they're causing a shift from home ownership to renting, which degrades the economy for lower and middle class folks while limiting their upward financial mobility. Ladies and gentlemen, what have I been talking about for a while now? That this transfer of wealth that we are in the middle of experiencing, it's going to be from the poor and the middle class up to the elite. BlackRock is a $9 trillion corporation. They are the ones that are going to benefit from these home sales. And they get their money at zero, if not nearly 0% interest. So they get to borrow money at zero, if not nearly 0% interest, to overbid people that want to buy a home so they can live in. So, and then they end up renting it to those people that couldn't buy it because they outbid them. The Federal Reserve, ladies and gentlemen, is on a course to own everything. We will own nothing, as predicted by the WEF. It says here that BlackRock is buying every single family house they can find, paying 20 to 50% above asking price and outbidding normal home buyers. Why are corporations, pension funds, and property investment groups buying entire neighborhoods out from under the middle class? Let's take a look. Homes are popping up on MLS and going under contract within a few hours. BlackRock, among others, are buying up thousands of new homes and entire neighborhoods. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and intervene here real quick. In addition to BlackRock and these other large corporations buying these homes from under people that really just want to buy a home and live in it, in addition to that, not a lot of people are talking about the foreign interests that are buying up farmland, that are buying large swaths of land here in the United States. And normally, whenever a foreign interest like Saudi Arabia, like China, buy land here in the U.S., they usually hold on to it for a very long time. Meaning that we have no exposure to that land and they do whatever they want. They can farm that land, degrade that land so that they can take whatever produce they produce and send it back to their country. Pretty much using our natural resources to better their nations while leaving us with stripped farmland that we can do nothing with. And whenever something bad happens, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They can just pick up and leave the mess that they made behind. We are losing our country. That's what's happening. We are losing our country. We are being stripped of everything from every side, and even from within. It's happening. So who is BlackRock? Only the world's largest asset manager and the leading proponent of the Great Reset. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that odd? They're looking to redistribute, get this, $120 trillion, the entire wealth of the world's middle class and poor combined, several times over. As an example, a 124 new home neighborhood was bought in its entirety in Texas. Average Americans were outbid to a tune of $32 million. Homes sold at an average of 20% above listing. Now the entire neighborhood is made up of SFRs, single family rentals. And now your potential lower to middle class homeowner is positioned to be a renter forever. This matters because the lower and middle class owning a home is the most major part of any financial success and future upward mobility. This is wealth redistribution. In other words, a transfer of wealth. And it's not rich people's wealth that's getting redistributed. It's normal American middle class, salt of the earth, wealth heading into the hands of the world's most powerful entities and individuals. The traditional financial vehicle is gone forever. Home equity is the main financial element that middle-class families use to build wealth. And BlackRock, a Federal Reserve-funded financial institution, is buying up all the houses to make sure that young families can't build wealth. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Federal Reserve-funded institution. So where does this position the average American in 30 years when it's a given that every new neighborhood is to be bought up whole so that they can be used as single-family rentals? It positions them as peasants, ladies and gentlemen, because you will own nothing. You will not be able to make any decisions for yourself. Ask yourself, I remember I remember emailing back and forth with someone that lived in California who was interested in a solar generator. And this person rented an apartment. And she told me, well, I'm not allowed to have a solar generator in my apartment. My landlord won't permit it. That's where it positions us, ladies and gentlemen, when they finish their plan of buying everything. And remember, I remember saying once, if no one can own anything, if you will own nothing, who will own everything? Well, here is your answer. This is who will own everything. The big central banks that can pretty much print out of nothing, steal your wealth by buying those things that you can't buy because they jacked up the price. And it goes on to say here, ladies and gentlemen, the Great Reset is real, and it is happening. This will be the greatest transfer of wealth and greatest consolidation of power in the history of mankind. If they get away with it, revolution will be the only cure. Oh my goodness. If they get away with it, revolution will be the only cure. It will be awful. Wake up, get active, and stop this now. This warfare, make no doubt about it, Lloyd's Bank in London is doing it, as is every great financial institute across the world. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll stop right there. I'll go ahead and leave the link to this article. And here's a couple of tweets that people did. Here's one that says, BlackRock is buying every single family house they can find, paying 20 to 50% above asking price and outbidding normal home buyers. Why are corporations and pension funds and property investments group buying all these houses? And I'm not sure if this video will be demonetized or taken down or anything like that, but I'll leave the link to this article at the bottom of the description of the video. That way you can find it and revisit it if you want to read on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, having said that, hey, listen, I'm going to go ahead and do a live stream tonight at 5 p.m. Alaska time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I want to talk about another way that they are, and what I mean by they, I mean these huge financial institutions. I want to talk about another way that they are enslaving mankind. Why? Because I think it's important. Because for those people that have already been caught in this trap, it may be too late, but it's not too late for the young people that are coming up. So if we teach them well and we teach them what to look out for, then maybe they won't be as enslaved as much of the population is today, and then they can make better decisions based on the freedoms that they will have by not allowing themselves to get caught up in the games that these people play. Having said that, I hope you have a good day. I hope you had a great Father's Day yesterday as well. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world will be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I am out.
Nutrient Survival isn't just survival food. It's special ops grade. Built to the nutritional standards of the U.S. Special Ops and packed with 40 essential nutrients. Formulated to sustain energy, sharpen focus, and keep you and your family thriving during any emergency. Real food, real ingredients. Oh, and a 25-year shelf life. Our meals will kick your taste buds in the mouth and have them coming back for dessert. Yeah, we've got that too. So whether you're digging in or bugging out, you don't just survive an emergency situation, you thrive in it. Nutrient Survival. Feed your freedom.